It's been 630 days since the Eagles knocked the 12-4 Falcons out of the playoffs in the divisional round, and today, with virtually an entire different roster, the Falcons have come to Philadelphia with revenge on their minds and a perfect 3-0 record on the line. First play, and Carson Wentz is throwing behind great protection and goes to Zach Ertz, who plucks it out of the sky for a 15-yard catch. 2 plays later, and Wentz fakes the give and once again has all day to throw before going right back to Zach Ertz for 14 yards and a first down into Atlanta territory. Next play, Wentz throwing again, and this time he fires quick, but Keanu Neal jumps the route for the interception, and Neal's first pick of the year has Atlanta setting up shop near midfield. And on their first play, Ray Gilbert drops the throw and has Calvin Ridley wide open for an 18-yard gain. 5 plays later, 3rd and 10, Gilbert again throwing, and this time it's Kyle Woods over the middle for 18 more. Then 2 plays later, it's Gilbert going quick over the middle to Julio Jones, who gets into the end zone for the 10-yard score, and it's Atlanta who strikes first blood and takes a 7-0 lead. Ensuing drive, Eagles near midfield where Wentz play fakes, and Deion Jones screams in to drop him for the sack, and the 7-yard loss on Jones' second sack of the year leads to an Eagles punt. Philly would get it right back, and on their second play, it's a give to Nyheim Hines, who bounces off the line before beelining it right into the clear. Nobody's gonna catch him, and it's a 63-yard touchdown as the Eagles answer right back and tie things up at 7. Eagles again with the ball, and on 3rd and 14, it's Wentz hitting Alshon Jeffrey for the first down and more as he breaks tackles and picks up 28 yards near midfield. But once again, it's a sack halting the Eagles' drive as Wentz looks to throw, moves to his left, and is eventually tracked down by Sean Pearson for a loss of 8 yards on the rookie 5th rounder out of Eastern Washington's second sack of the year. Second quarter now, Eagles facing 3rd and 2, and it's Nyheim Hines with good yardage again as he bounces outside and has an 18-yard gain to convert. Then it turns into the Wentz to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside show as he hits him for 7 yards and a first down near midfield. 2 plays later, and it's Wentz to Arcega-Whiteside for 8 yards and another Eagles first down. 2 plays later again, and it's Wentz to who else but Arcega-Whiteside for 7 more yards to move the chains again. Then with 3rd and 4 from the 20, it's a screen out to Nyheim Hines, but Deion Jones is there to wrap him up and bring him down for a loss of 3. And on 4th down, it's Greg Joseph with a 40-yard field goal that splits the uprights and puts the Eagles out in front for the first time today with a 10-7 lead. First play of the ensuing drive, Gilbert drops the throw, stands in, and connects with Julio Jones over the middle for a 20-yard gain to the Atlanta 45. 2 plays later, Gilbert throwing again, but pressured immediately, and down he goes for an 8-yard loss. And on 3rd and 17, Gilbert throwing one more time and forces it into Austin Hooper, who stretches out to make the 21-yard catch. 4 plays later, 2nd and 20 after a holding call, and it's Gilbert right back to a wide-open Austin Hooper for 22 yards and a first down. Next play, and Gilbert continues to deal, going to Calvin Ridley over the middle for 13 more to make it 1st and goal. And on 3rd and goal with 15 seconds left, it's Gilbert to a wide-open Kyle Woods, and the rookie's 2-yard score sends Atlanta to the break with a 14-10 halftime lead. And to open the second half, it's a give to Ito Smith, who has 15 yards and a first down to start the drive. Next play, and it's Gilbert dropping to throw and going to Calvin Ridley, who has 11 yards and another first down across midfield. Then on the following play, the offense keeps rolling as Devontae Freeman has a huge hole and 23 yards down just outside the Eagle 20. 3 plays later, after another first down, it's Gilbert throwing, and it's the most All-Madden interception of all time as he throws it nearly 10 yards wide of his target, and the Nigel Bradham interception keeps Falcon points off the board and gives the Eagles possession inside their own 15. After a first down takes them to the 24, it's Wentz hitting Alshon Jeffrey for 11 yards and another first down. Then facing 3rd and 5, it's Wentz throwing again and firing down the seam to Zach Ertz, who hangs on for 22 yards into Atlanta territory. Next play, and Wentz completes his 21st consecutive pass for 10 yards and another first down to Arcega-Whiteside. And on the following play, it's to the ground, and Nyheim Hines, who has a lane, gets the first down before DeMonte Casey wallops him. Ball is out. Falcons recover, and they return the turnover favor to keep points off the board and maintain a 14-10 lead. Eagles get it back and are right back into Atlanta territory as Wentz has Zach Ertz wide open, who breaks one tackle, avoids another, and takes it all the way down to the Falcon 22. Then facing 3rd and 7 from the 20, it's Wentz back back to Ertz for 18 more to make it 1st and goal. And on the following play, Wentz looking to throw with plenty of time but nowhere to go, and Foye Oluokun eventually runs him down for the sack, and the loss of 10 yards takes Philadelphia from 1st and goal at the 1 all the way back to the 11. 2 plays later, 3rd and goal now, where the Eagles dial up a screen, but Carson Wentz dials up stupidity as he just stands around with the ball before Deion Jones takes him down for the 2nd time today, and the Eagles go from having it at the 1-yard line to 4th and goal from the 21. Out comes Greg Joseph, who makes his 2nd field goal of the day, putting through the 38-yarder and cutting the Falcons' lead to 1. First play of the ensuing drive into in the 3rd quarter, it's Gilbert with the fake and firing to McCole Hardman, who hangs on to the 32-yard catch into Eagle territory. And to start the 4th, the chains move again as Ito Smith takes it up the middle for a 12-yard gain. 2 plays later, and it's Casey Rivers moving the chains as he picks up 11 more down inside the 20. Then facing 3rd and 10, it's Gilbert quick to Austin Hooper over the middle for 14 yards to make it 1st and goal. And capping off the drive is Casey Rivers, who has a lane, truck sticks Patrick Swayze and is into the end zone for a 5-yard score that puts Atlanta up 21-13 and gives them an 8-point lead. Falcons get it back, and with 3rd and 2, it's Casey Rivers again who picks up 5 and the 1st down to keep the drive alive. 2 plays later, 2nd and 8, and move the chains again as Gilbert goes to Devontae Freeman, who jukes his way to 10 yards on the 1st down. Atlanta just across midfield now, and on 3rd and inches, Ito Smith has the 1st down as the Falcons convert again. Next play, and Atlanta continues to chew the clock as McCole Hardman takes the jet sweep off the right side for 19 yards down to the Eagles' 24. Then with 3rd and 9 from the 22, Gilbert throwing, but is going to be taken down by Brandon Graham for the sack. Falcons run it down, and Roland Ford's 46-yard field goal is right down the middle and gives Atlanta an 11-point lead with 2:51 to go. Eagles need points immediately, and out of the 2-minute warning, it's Wentz to Zach Ertz, who has the 1st down and 17 yards into Atlanta territory. Eagles hurry to the line. Wentz throwing again, and he's going to have all the time in the world. Avoids pressure, moves to his right, and eventually finds Arcega-Whiteside for 11 yards and another 1st down. Rushing back to the line again, it's Wentz surveying the field again with all day to throw, and he's going to find Zach Ertz over the middle for 26 more yards to make it 1st and goal. Eagles hurry to the line again, and one more time, Wentz has plenty of time to throw, but this time his pass is off the mark and intercepted by Desmond Trufant, and with 44 seconds to go, the Eagles still have 3 timeouts, but this one is all but wrapped up. And the final nail is Devontae Freeman up the middle, picking up the 1st down and a 17-yard gain. And it's the Falcons taking this battle of the birds as Carson Wentz has his way with the Atlanta defense, completing 34 of his 41 passes. Nyheim Hines goes for 143 yards rushing, but it's all only good for 13 points as the Eagles fall to 0-4. Meanwhile, the Falcons move to 4-0 and will take their perfect record back home to face the New York Giants next week. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, make it 4-0 on the season now as we get some very delayed revenge for the playoff game 2 seasons ago. Interesting game where after the last 2 games of erratic quarterback play from the computer, Wentz finishes 34 of 41 passing, and we give up another long touchdown, which is becoming a bit of a habit. But outside of that, the defense played well. The passing game really sputtered, but with Fletcher Cox out, I was able to run the ball really well and pick up yet another victory. But looking at Sean Chamberlain's breakout scenario, we were not able to get it done this week. Definitely didn't hold the Eagles to under 250 yards, but I did get him a tackle for loss, which I thought would trigger it, but not the case. So unfortunately, he remains at a normal dev. However, our free agent signing Solomon Thomas has received a breakout scenario of his own this week, and heading into the Giants game, I'll need to hold them to less than 75 yards rushing and 1 rushing touchdown, or get Thomas 2 or more interceptions, forced fumbles, tackles for loss, or sacks. So not likely, but a chance to get him up to a superstar dev. Moving on to this week's negotiations, we start with Ito Smith, who rejected our offer last week, but after an increase to the bonus, he signs a 4-year, $13.8 million contract with a $4 million bonus. And like I said last video, he looks to take Devontae Freeman's role heading into next season and split carries and playing time with Casey Rivers. Our second negotiation was with cornerback Isaiah Oliver, who we signed up to a 5-year, $24.8 million contract with a $10 million bonus, and this keeps a young young 77 star dev corner tied up through his age 29 season, and the plan here is to hopefully add around him in this upcoming offseason and really bolster that cornerback group. No draft stories or tweets this week, so it's straight to the draft board where we added 4 right tackles. Like I've said before, Caleb McGarry hasn't really developed the way we'd like, so in looking to possibly replace him, we add second-round true talents Jamar Buchanan, Damond Maxey, and Riley Davison, as well as a third-round true talent in Anthony Baldwin. Then lastly, for team activities, we have 4 players to upgrade, starting with left tackle Jake Matthews, who goes from an 80 to an 81 overall after a 1-point increase to his pass block and a 2-point increase to his pass block finesse. Next up is the exterminator Jordan Buggs, who is no longer a 69 as he reaches a 70 overall, gaining 2 points towards his carry and 1 point increases to his awareness, ball carrier vision, catching, impact block, and lead block ratings. But with the exit of 169 comes the arrival of another, as rookie Casey Rivers reaches the nicest overall with 1 point gains to his awareness and catching, as well as a 2-point bump to his short route running. And then lastly here is defensive end Charles Piercy, who goes up to a 63 overall after gaining 2 points to his awareness and 1 point to his finesse moves and tackle. Time to go around the league, starting with other scores from week 4, where the Chiefs beat the Raiders 19-13 on Thursday night. Ravens squeak by the Lions, Saints win 35-21, Redskins hammer the Bucks, and the Texans and Jets tie at 31 apiece. Dolphins win 21-7, Browns beat the Steelers 35-17, and the Jags take down the 49ers 17-10. Broncos win by 1 over the Bengals, and the Rams and Vikings both pick up division victories. Then on Sunday night, the Seahawks win 27-24 against the Packers, and wrapping up the week on Monday night was Mitchell Trubisky and the Patriots winning 31-17 over the Colts. So looking at the standings in the AFC East, the Patriots and Dolphins are both 3-1, while the tie puts the Jets at 2-1-1, and the Bills with the week off remain in last place at 1-2. Browns are alone at the top of the AFC North at 3-1, with the Steelers and Ravens a game back, and the defending Super Bowl champs 1-3 through the first quarter of the season. Jaguars lead the South at 3-1, with the Texans in second place at 2-1-1 after their tie with the Jets, and then the 1-2 Titans and 1-3 Colts are behind them. Then out west, the Beats have the week off and remain in first place, but the Chiefs and Broncos both win to move to 3-1 and are only a half game back, while the Raiders are, well, they're the Raiders. On the NFC side, the East sees our next opponent in the idle Giants leading the way at 2-1, with the 2-2 Cowboys, 1-3 Redskins, and 0-4 Eagles all laying chase. In the North, it's all Vikings after 4 weeks as they sit in first place at 3-1, with the 1-3 Packers 2 games back and the winless Bears and Lions both already 3 games back. We remain at the top of the South at 4-0, but the Saints are only a game back at 3-1, while the Panthers at 1-3 and Buccaneers at 0-4 are both multiple games back. And then the NFC West has the Rams and Cardinals tied at the top, both with 3-1 records, while the 49ers and Seahawks are both 2-2 and trail the division lead by 1 game. Moving on to the players of the week, starting here with the AFC offensive, which goes to Baker Mayfield of the Browns. The former number 1 overall pick completed 21 of his 24 attempts for 266 yards and 5 touchdowns, which was good for a 152.4 passer rating and helped lead the Browns to a 35-17 win over the Steelers. As for the NFC, it was fellow former number 1 overall pick in Matthew Stafford of the Lions. The 13th-year quarterback was 21 of 30 passing for 325 yards and 2 touchdowns to win this week's offensive award. However, that's all Stafford would win this week as his Lions fell 24-21 at home against the Ravens. On the defensive side for the AFC, it's Jets safety Marcus May taking home this week's award. The 2017 second-rounder out of Florida was in on 8 tackles from his safety position and picked off Deshaun Watson twice as the Jets and Texans played to a 31-31 tie in New York. Then wrapping up with the Defensive Player of the Week for the NFC, the award goes to Ronald Darby of the Buccaneers. The free agent signing this past offseason made 8 tackles with 1 going for a loss and intercepted Dwayne Haskins twice, but it didn't mean much as Tampa Bay was dominated to the tune of a 27-9 home loss to the Redskins. The passing leaders go through a complete shakeup this week as Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson takes the passing yards lead with 1,306 as well as passing touchdowns with 12. Then with his 126.9 rating, Vikings quarterback Johnny Salisbury takes the passer rating lead from Andrew Luck. Saquon Barkley and the Giants had the week off, which means no more jackpot for him as he does lose his rushing yards lead to Todd Gurley, who has 561, but Barkley does remain atop both the rushing touchdown leaders with 6, and his incredible 10.3 yards per carry average is still by far a league best. Jets receiver Jamison Crowder had 14 catches for 173 yards and 3 touchdowns against Houston, which somehow didn't win him Player of the Week, but does put him atop each of the receiving categories as he leads the way with 34 catches, 430 yards receiving, and 6 touchdown receptions. Then lastly for the leaders is the defense, where reigning Rookie of the Year Dwayne McBath leads all tacklers with 39. The Browns' Myles Garrett takes the sack lead with 7 through 4 games, and the Texans' Malcolm Butler is at the front of the revolving door of interception leaders with 2 picks on the year. Looking ahead to Week 5, things kick off with the Jets at the Dolphins on Thursday night. Moving to Sunday, it's 49ers at Texans, Cardinals at Vikings, and the Titans head to Kansas City to take on the 3-1 Chiefs. 0-4 Eagles look for their first win as they head to Carolina, while we host Saquon Barkley and the 2-1 Giants. The 1-3 Bengals look to get back on track heading to Pittsburgh, and the 3-1 Broncos head to Buffalo to play the 1-2 Bills. The Brooklyn Beats are 3-0 and on their way to Washington to play the Redskins, while the Colts play at the 2-2 Seahawks. Patriots play host to the Jaguars, and the Lions and Bears both look for their first win of the season as they face off in Chicago. Then wrapping up the week is a couple of primetime division battles, starting first with the Bucs hosting the Saints on Sunday night, and then the 3-1 Browns head to Baltimore to face their old selves on Monday night. Cowboys, Packers, Rams, and Raiders all taking the week off. But that's going to do it. 4 weeks, 4 wins, and next week we get the Giants, who finished 3-12-1 last season but are already 2-1 this year and in first place, and stopping Saquon Barkley will be the big priority. Hope you guys enjoyed the highlights, commentary, and around the league news, as well as the start to season